Hey guys, J77 doing a flashback review of Back to the Future Part 2. Back to the Future Part 2 was directed by Robert Zemeckis. Stars Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, and it was distributed by Universal Pictures. Now before everybody started asking questions on why I'm doing the second one and not the first one, let me go on and say, yes, I saw the first one. You pretty much have to see the first one to see the other two. I saw it on television, then I saw it on VHS, so I saw it about roughly 5 times. And I also saw the other two on theaters as well as VHS and DVD. The reason why I'm doing 2 instead of 1 is because out of all of the 3 films that Back to the Future have had, 2 was the one that had a lot of mixed reviews from. It was not well liked by a lot of people, both critics and fans. And for most of that dislike was based on 2 things: the continuity problem with the time traveling and the ending. Let me go first to saying that I saw these films and I enjoyed all 3 of these. I love the Back to the Future trilogy. It is the most fun film I have ever had the privilege of seeing on the big screen and on television. I enjoyed watching this film when I was little. I enjoy watching these films when I grow up, and I still enjoy them, watching them to this day. But one cannot deny the complaints that many of the moviegoers and fans had with the second film. And let me explain this. A lot of the things, the main complaint was the time traveling. A lot of people said the time traveling was confusing. I wasn't confused with the time traveling. I thought the time traveling itself was not as much confusion. It was much of inconsistency, and I'll explain right now about that. As you know, Marty McFly went to the future with Doc Brown. The main objective of that was to stop his future son from committing a crime that could ruin his whole life, spending years in prison, putting shame to the family name. And he does that. How he does it was that he had to be like his son Marty Jr. And the reason why is he looks just like his son. That was the whole premise. And because he looked just like his son, he can pass up as his son, which is Marty McFly Jr. They set this up as Doc Brown had did some type of diversion. Didn't explain how he distracted his son, but he moved them away from where he was supposed to be, which was like a futuristic diner. So that way Marty McFly take his place. Well, of course that didn't happen. He still showed up anyway, and so does the future Biff of this movie. And he's basically roughing him up, beating him down, just so that way he can come to him. That way, to force him to go where he was supposed to go, which is commit a crime, rob this thing, and there you have your problems. He's semi-unconscious. He took his hat. Marty McFly took his son's hat, and he became Marty McFly Jr., and he's staring right at his face. The bullies are like, whoa, where this came from? And he was about to walk away until he was called a chicken, and next thing you know, there's a big giant baseball bat coming after him, and it was just it led to probably one of the greatest hoverboard chases of this whole entire film. It was very, very fun and very, very entertaining. In short, Biff crashed he ended up crashing his hoverboard in the clock tower. He gets arrested, and and whatever was supposed to happen with his son completely got erased. It basically changed the whole format, and it was now Biff, the son, who was going to go to jail, and not his son. So that basically was the end of the first story. There's actually 3 stories to this. The other story, I'm going to make it very brief, that Marty McFly buys an almanac. He ends up having this book where it tells all the sports events that happened from between 1985 to 2015, and already the wheels are turning. He's already having these plans of winning millions, which would guaranteed because he has all the winning results, becoming one of the probably greatest millionaires. Unfortunately, Biff also took wind of what was going to happen, and Doc Brown, who also found out, was very upset, throws the almanac in the garbage, but not before he realized he had to rescue Marty McFly's girlfriend, which she was, found by the police and was, escorted back to her future home. In short, Biff took advantage of the situation. He took the almanac, got into the car, and he completely changed the events. Whatever he did, he changed the events before coming back to the future time. This is where the film got a little confusing, or in this case, inconsistent. Let me just go on and say this: that how can I explain this better without jumbling words? Okay, from that scene when he went back to the DeLorean, went back to the past or changed whatever, that once he changed that, everything that happened in the first film is dead. In fact, it wouldn't be a part one, and that was the main problem. When he did change it, when Marty McFly and Doc Brown and the girlfriend, who was pretty much unconscious after seeing herself being old, went back to 1985. Doc Brown's talking about destroying the time machine, and he's heading back to the lab. Here's the problem: it wasn't their 1985; it was an alternate reality, where how the suburban Hill Valley is all nice, safe, and colorful. This one was just dark, violence. The crime rate is high, and the clock tower, which was always saying it's going to be closed down if they don't raise the money, it's actually closed down and became a casino for Biff Tanner, who's now this millionaire. He finds out that Biff is married. Marty McFly finds out that Biff is married to his mom. Everything's going crazy. He also finds out that for some reason he's supposed to be in boarding school. So everything went totally blown to hell. I mean, everything went totally gone crazy at that time. That's when he found out that Biff actually, himself, his older self, went back to the past and basically just changed everything, and they were forced to go back into forced to go take the time machine, goes back to 1955, and steal the almanac from Biff before he had a chance to do any of the gamblings. Before he had a chance to make a first bet on a horse race, and he does, and they destroy the almanac, and basically everything is supposedly restored. You see everything coming back to normal and stuff. Right, and everything looks so happily until the DeLorean got hit by lightning and basically what we thought at the time incinerated. Of course, Mark Brown is not dead. What ended up happening, a malfunction, teleported him right to the past of the Old West, and that's how pretty much the film ended, with Marty McFly running down the streets of Hill Valley, meeting Doc Brown, who thought he had Marty McFly going back into the future. Here he is, standing right in front of him. He's saying, "I'm back from the future," and he passed right out, and that's how the film ends. Yeah, that's how the film exactly ended. Now, I say this again. I liked the movie. I thought the film was fun. It was entertaining. It was thrilling. But one cannot escape the continuity problems that it have. And it's basically the time travel. Let me very, very, very clear. Once Biff went back to time, that's it. There is no first movie. Because everything that happened in the past, everything that happened that Biff did in the 1955, if he would have gambled and all that stuff, it automatically altered the future a bit. With the exception of probably Marty being born, everything else would not have mattered. And for the reason, Marty McFly in the alternate universe was supposedly supposed to be in boarding school. That's one. Two, Doc Brown, who is this great scientist, is now in a mental institution in 1985. That's two. So that means you put those two together, that means they would not have been a DeLorean. That means there would never have been, that incident where Marty McFly accidentally zaps himself into 1955. None of that would have happened because they would never have met. And that was the thing that I think people, was catching on to this. Wait a minute, if he changed the past in 1955, how is it possible that they are here in 1985? This just doesn't add up. I mean, there's no way it could have happened. Another thing that was also confusing is when Doc Brown explains to Marty why they couldn't go to the future and change it from there. And he said that if everything's happening in that time frame, which is 1985, everything will be represented from that future. That's and I'm like, well, wait a minute. If that's the case, then everything that would have happened, when, Biff took the almanac and took the time machine to go back, would never happen. And in fact, it didn't happen because in the scene where he came back on his time machine and it looks like he's having a heart attack or he's clenching himself, he was being erased from time. And in the special edition, I don't know if they still have it in the new version, but in the special edition, they explain that Biff got erased. So that means he got erased. There was no way he could have got the almanac. And the reason why he got erased was because Marty McFly's mom shot him. I think she found out that he was responsible for her husband's death because he's dead in the 1985 in the alternate reality, and basically killed him. So if all that stuff happened, everything would have been irrelevant. He would never have the chance to do it. So there's a lot of stuff that went down with the time frame, and that alone pissed off a lot of people because there was so much inconsistency with just that alone. Keep in mind, they went back in time not once, not twice, but 3 times. They went on time traveling. So yeah, there was a lot of inconsistencies that really, caused a lot of people to say, wait, this don't make no sense. And in reality, it didn't make any sense if you were to nitpick this film. Another thing, this film that really got people a lot of angry, a lot, was the ending. Now, I understand why the ending was like that. Of course, it happened in the first film, so I wasn't too surprised. But the difference between Back to the Future 1 and Back to the Future 2 was because you really, honestly, if the film was to say to fail, you can easily just leave it at that. Okay, well, they went to the future, they've had another adventure. There was no really, you can actually say we just leave it at that, there's no room for sequel. But they did make the sequel as the first one was successful. And this one, you pretty much have to see the third one. It was like one big film. And they did make the film at the same time, but it was like one big film. And it was like, oh, we got to come back and see this film. It wasn't like, yeah, I want to see this film. It was like, I got to see the third one. And for those who were disappointed at the second one, pretty much did not want to see the third one because they were disappointed of the film they just recently saw. So yeah, people didn't like the ending for that reason. For instance, I enjoyed it and I couldn't wait for the third one, even though I had to wait another year to see it. But a lot of people don't like when you're forcing them to see the third installment, where if it just ended, you at least give them a choice if they do come out with a third one to either see it or not see it. But in this case, to have a closure of the film, you literally had to see the third one, and I think people didn't like to be forced to see the third one, and that was pretty much that little gripe. Like I said, these are legit complaints. I'm not even going to deny it. The time frame is the timeline, like I explained before, was a bit out there. But despite that, I still enjoyed it. I still liked it for what it was, and I still gave it 3 stars. And it was a fun film. So I have no problem with this movie. I think that if you can able to block out that inconsistency, you'll find yourself having fun with the film. Like I said, it's not a perfect film. It does have continuity problems. And yeah, the ending leaves a little bit of a taste in your mind because you basically have to see 3. But for diehards and for moviegoers, it's still a fun ride. It was still great. Christopher Lloyd was wonderful. Michael J. Fox was fantastic, and their performance alone really carried the film nicely. So, if anything else I can say about this film, I say that see it for pretty much as a popcorn flick. You won't be disappointed, and you really will enjoy the film for what it is. So that's my say on it. Hope you guys give me some feedback on it. Until then, check you guys later.